Welcome, viewers. My name is Tausif, and as you know, that every Tuesday I do a live show with amazing personalities locally from Ireland and UK, as well as globally from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Last week I did a live stream with Catherine, and it was an amazing story of someone who have started late and stepped into the world of online streaming, interviewing persons one to one there. As you know, that this pandemic situation has since March, a lot of people have stepped up and start, guiding other people's in different walk of a life. There, like my own story that I was an instructor for years there, but never did a live streaming at all, and I'm now regularly doing the live stream at least twice a week there. Today's or tonight evening episode especially, we have an amazing personality from Ireland, Debbie Deegan there. But before coming to the Debbie Deegan story about what she is and how during her life journey she has achieved a lot of things there, I just wanted to point out that this current situation of pandemic, people are strive towards sitting at home or working from home with the limited resources there, and it is taking a lot of a toll out of ourselves there or our personalities there. Whole pandemic situation has changed the total scenario of the world order there. Rather than going to the universities or schools, mostly the classes are being done, especially for the third level, from online there. So that has created a lot of a good opportunity as well. Having said that, it's an opportunity itself there where you can reach your potential audiences if you know where your potential audiences are. I always say that when you start a new services or a new company or a new startup there, one should know where the potential audiences are. Now, the potential audiences are very easy these days to understand what, the persona of your ideal customer, where he or she resides, what he or she do, and what he and she loves there. So if we can base our marketing preferences according to the personas we know about our customers there, then it's easy to do the marketing there. And that's why the digital marketing these days has created a lot of a good hype around as a career, as well as reaching the people, which is kind of very easy as compared to a traditional marketing of a television or radio. Still, that traditional marketing works very well, but digital marketing, you can narrow down, or what you say, a focus laser to the target audience there, where your audiences reside there, and you can reach them, and you can convey your message there. We'll take a short break with the commercial there, and then we will see how this Debbie story falls apart there, especially when I'll come after the break there. I will also walk you through about her journey. She's a writer. But before even go to that short break, let me cap up there. Debbie Deegan is a founder and CEO of the Two Children with Love. She started up this charity in 1998 to help socially disadvantaged children at home and abroad to achieve their full potential. She's also an inspirational speaker. I have seen her TEDx talk there, and marvelous there. She has received numerous awards. She's the author of 2 books there, and we have a lot to talk about Debbie tonight there. So let me first focus on the commercial, if I can start up there, a small one, just for a second. Okay, welcome back there. So we have a Debbie with us there in the studio. Very warm welcome to Debbie there. You are now live, Debbie.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening there. There's a lot of a thing when I was going through your short profile there. I was so amazing. Tell me about your, first of all, you are an author of 2 books. How it came your mind to write up a book there?
Well, I suppose really I didn't feel a particular need in the beginning to write a book because I wrote it for fundraising purposes. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea really was that we would try and get our story down and, you know, get it down on paper and then get it out to as many people as we could possibly get it out to tell the story of why an Irish organization was working like in the middle of Russia. Mm-hmm. It is interesting for people to try and understand why we do what we do and what life is like in Russia, because it's kind of this big mystical dark place that everybody's afraid of. And so the story is a very interesting story. And so yeah, I was dying to get it all down on paper, really. And but the ultimate reason for the book was really to raise money for the charity. And then the second book was the same. About 3 years later, the children we were working with had they were going to college, they were growing up, they were becoming beautiful young adults. And I wanted to capture their stories. So I actually asked the children themselves to write stories. So the second book was actually called The Children's Stories because it is exactly their voices in the book. Okay. So they were my 2 books. And I've written another book since, which is just a children's book, which I wrote recently, which I completely loved doing because it was just so simple and, you know, a simple story, but it's not published yet.
Okay. You are a founder of this organization, a charity organization, To Children with Love. I was going through your website, and if I could see that there are a lot of stories about the children and orphanage house there. How this idea came in your mind to help those children there? And I see that you're very active in Russia. If I'm not wrong there, I know that you are based in Ireland there. But how this idea of the charity organization came into your mind, and since 1998, how was that journey?
Well, really, after the Chernobyl disaster, many children from Russia and Belarus and the Ukraine came to Ireland for holidays and rest and recuperation, as they called it. Mm-hmm. Families all over Ireland took these children into their homes. Mm-hmm. So we took children into our home, and we had a big relationship with those children, and we had a big relationship with many Russians that came with them. Mm-hmm. And I decided then, a year later, to go back to Russia for the very first time, to go to this big, strange country, and to try and find the orphanage where these children had come from. And I went to Russia in 1998. So when I was, as you mentioned, I did a TEDx talk, which I told the story of, you know, you get off the plane and you're in this very strange world because Russia is so big, and it's, to me, the sky was so high and the stars there was millions of stars. It's a very different environment to ours. You drove for 6 hours with just forest either side of us in a meter of snow.
That's right.
And I had never seen snow like that before. I'd never seen forests that lasted for 5 or 6 hours driving. And eventually we came to the gates of our crumbling old orphanage. And we don't have orphanages in Ireland. We haven't had any orphanages in Ireland for about 50 years.
Almost, yeah.
So it was for me to go in through these gates as a very ordinary Irish mother, seeing children in the cold. And at the time, if you remember, Russia was going through a very difficult period economically. And so the people were very poor. They were very stressed out. They'd lost money in their bank. The banks had crashed. Local staff in the villages hadn't been paid in months. And so Vladimir Putin arrived the same year, actually, as I did. The two of us arrived together. And he inherited a very big problem when he took over. He inherited 850,000 orphans. That was an enormous social problem that he had to deal with. And over the last 20 years, they've been trying to solve that problem, because we all want a world with no children's homes in it. There shouldn't be orphanages.
It shouldn't be. That's correct, yeah.
And no matter what, children's homes are not the right place to raise children.
That's correct, yeah.
At the same time, I will always think a child should be with its mother or its father. But I suppose if a child is living with alcoholism, or they're living in a violent household, sometimes it's better to take that child out of the house till you solve the problem. But orphanages are not the way to solve that problem. But in some cases, they're better than nothing. And Russia had huge problems with alcohol and poverty in 1998. And a lot of these children were safer under the roof of an orphanage, because at least they were getting 3 meals a day.
And these going through the stories of those children there, it looks like at that time there were a lot of difficulties with the children there in orphanage, and especially there was a lot of abuse factor there as well.
Certainly, we didn't ever come across sexual abuse and we searched for it, actually, because we had so much of it, shamefully, we had so much of it in our own country. And it is a shame. And we've a very dark history in our own Ireland, because the church and the state kept our children hidden behind big locked doors. Whereas with the Russians, they actually allowed us go anywhere we wanted to go. They gave me the green light. We had a huge trust with them and us. I had very professional people on my team, and the Russians were very respectful of the people that I brought with me. They knew we weren't there for the purpose of making headlines in, a tabloid newspaper. They knew we weren't there for political reasons, and we weren't there for religious reasons. We were there simply to help children, and that's exactly what we did. And we've been working with the same children now for 22 years, and more layers and layers and layers more children.
Okay. And how was your work highlighted, especially in Russia? Like you got an award from President Putin there. How it worked there? How it was highlighted?
Not too many Irish women have had dinner with Vladimir Putin. So yeah, about 2 years ago, I was preparing for my daughter's wedding in Ireland, actually. And I got a phone call from the Kremlin. And when you get a phone call from the Kremlin, you answer the phone.
That's correct, yeah.
And so I was invited to a ceremony to receive, on behalf of our organization, to receive something they call the Order of Friendship, which about maybe 3 or 4 Western people a year get.
Yeah, I've heard about that, yeah.
Quite a unique honor. And it's a very fancy medal, but it's not just a medal. It's like, it's a higher order than that. Yeah, so we were invited to the Kremlin, and it's an experience. It's such an experience.
Lifetime experience.
We were staying in a hotel, the president's own hotel, and then you're collected by car and you're whisked through the streets of Moscow with your blue flashing lights, and the gates of the Kremlin open, and up to this now, bear in mind, I'm in an orphanage, we're eating porridge, and we're living orphanage life.
Sure.
And so the Kremlin is spectacular. It's utterly spectacular. And so up the big red staircase, we were like Cinderella. 2 of us went, and we were like Cinderella going to the ball. And into this golden room. It's a spectacular room, and there was about 800 people there. I didn't actually realize that Vladimir Putin would be there himself. I thought there'd be a representative, actually. But actually, I was brought up to the head table, and they sat me down at my knife and fork and my cup, my beautiful setting at the table. and 2 security guards came over to me to let me know that I was actually going to be sitting to the right hand of Vladimir Putin.
Oh.
So I think for 10 seconds I thought I was going to faint.
Were you scared as well, to be honest?
To be honest, I'm not really scared of anybody.
Okay.
But if you're going to be scared of anybody, it might be Vladimir Putin, you know. And I kind of thought, like, what do you say to this man? Like, I mean, do you ask him, does he have a dog or a cat, or you know, where does he go on his holidays, or what is his life like, or you know,
just to start a conversation, you know.
It's to be honest, he was extremely easy company. It is intimidating when you sit down right beside him and you're looking directly into those eyes. And because his face is so iconic.
Yeah.
We're so used to looking at him in very serious moments, very serious issues, and then suddenly you're sitting with like glasses of vodka and champagne and you know dinner. You're making like chit chat, small talk, you know. But and on my left I had the Russian Pope, and on my right I had the Russian president. So it was intimidating dinner company, let's just say.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm not a religious person, so I couldn't really. I was talking to the Pope initially, and I didn't realize at that point that I was going to have the president beside me 5 minutes later. So I forgot about the Pope very quickly once Vladimir Putin sat down. And so he was extremely pleasant. I mean, he's a world leader. These people know how to make you feel comfortable. They know how to make small talk. They know how to, you know, they know how to put people at their ease. There was a beautiful concert on the stage. The food was exquisite. The china, the glasses were exquisite. Now it was a far distance from my Russian world, you know.
Yeah.
But I spoke to him about Ireland. I spoke to him about. I invited him to come fishing because he does fish, and I told him I'd cook for him in my kitchen. And so I'm not sure that he's ever going to come to my kitchen, to be honest with you. Who knows? Who knows?
Okay, yeah. And tell me, was he well aware of Ireland and geographically about Ireland and the people of Ireland, the traditions of Ireland? You know,
I'd say I wouldn't say it's high on his radar, but certainly he's very well educated. I mean, he speaks multiple languages, you know, and he knows. I mean, he's very well briefed about. You know, he would have had somebody briefing him as to who was sitting beside him, so he would have known all about me. And so no, when we talked for 2.5 hours, you know.
Okay, that's a long time.
It's a long time. I think I probably spoke to him. I think my Irish ambassador told me that I'm the longest. I was the person of all the Irish and all the ambassadors. I was the one that was with him the longest, you know. But actually, he's very easy company. He was very pleasant. He's very educated. He loves poetry. He would be very familiar with Irish poetry. He was talking to me about poetry, and I'm sure he knows more about Irish poetry than I do. You know?
Definitely, yeah.
The Russians love poetry. It's part of their culture. It's
part of their culture, yeah.
You know, and no, extremely pleasant experience. Now, of course, I had to take the opportunity to speak to him about the children that we work with because I couldn't miss the opportunity. But you know, you also have to be diplomatic. Like it's not the place to bring up certain issues. So I need to talk to him again. Actually, we need to have a longer conversation.
Okay. So tell me about this charity. Are you active there now at the moment, and what are your key focus areas?
So we have the charity has two major programs. One is Russia and children who are abandoned by their parents. Mostly social orphans, as we would call them, and that they have parents, but the parents are either in prison, alcoholics, drug addicts, or are gone, just gone. And so there are children, and then we have a project in Ireland called the Rising Tide, which is really an educational program for children that are growing up in an area that has many social challenges. And so we have gone into a school there about 4 years ago, and we started a scholarship program there, which is really very successful scholarship program. we work with wonderful teaching staff. And very supportive with teaching staff, and we work with fantastic students who really want to help themselves and, you know, reach out and end up hopefully getting very good trades or going to university. That's really what we're trying to encourage the children to do. Whereas traditionally in that area, their parents would never have gone to university. It's not normal in an area, in that area.
I was seeing your live conversation, live streaming with one of the guys there a couple of days ago. There, it was very amazing. There, you know, you are highlighting those people there who have never gone into such a high sort of a college stream there or a professional stream there. So, how you identify those individuals there? Basically, what is the streamlined process of that?
Of the Irish project.
That's right, the Irish project. Yeah.
So we have, at this time of the year now, we start interviewing the new children who are coming into the school.
Okay.
We've only chosen one school, really because of finance. We've chosen one school. So at the moment now, we have new children coming in. And so those children will be interviewed. And we have a strict criteria. And the children have to meet certain, it wouldn't all be based on academia at all.
Okay.
You know, we would talk to them about kindness. We would talk to them about, you know, compassion. We'd talk to them about, do they do work in the community? Stuff, just different things. You know, are they respectful to their teachers? Are they respectful to their parents? So that would be all part of the program. We're not, you know, we're not, like, academia is not the absolute for us. It's more.
That's not the criteria. You also take other aspects as well.
Yeah. If any child really wanted to go on the program, it's probably unlikely we would turn them down. But if they didn't work hard to stay on the program, we wouldn't keep them on the program.
And have you witnessed or you've seen that recently there has been a lot of a shift there? For example, traditionally in Ireland, I'm here as well for last 22, 23 years, that the farmers' children were traditionally going to farming there. But now things have changed. It's very hard, like the young generation which are coming up there, they would like to go into different fields there, like, for example, law, as well as to become a doctor or become an engineer there. Have you witnessed that change there traditionally, which was there before in Irish society?
Well, I suppose I'm a city girl, and so I suppose I don't really see. I would think that any children that I know, maybe that are coming up from, say, from more provincial areas, a lot of time they would you would see some of them wanting to do agriculture or something like that because they were raised in that environment. Okay. In general, no. In general, they would be reaching for law, for all sorts of degrees. But because I was raised in Dublin City myself, the children could really choose anything they wanted to be. Class children can really reach to any heights they want to reach. If they make an effort to do it, Irish parents are not, I don't think anyway, my own personal experience as a parent, we're not strict enough maybe with children. We're like, we have been very, very laid back parents in my home. And so my children have done very well for themselves, but it wasn't because we pushed them. It was because, well, for different reasons, but like really, my son works in LinkedIn in London now, and he's got a great job. They're a fantastic company to work for, and he's very happy with his job, and he loves London. And my daughter works for Tókra, which works in Africa. It's a huge charity, Irish charity. And they are both of them are educated. Both of them have college degrees, but very little discipline in their lives. I would, Irish parents don't push their children.
That's correct. Yeah, most or less they don't push it, and so that's why they are mostly lay back there, and they're finding a life there which is very easy there in terms that things have changed as well. I think so. The social media impact has also a lot of things in our life to do that people are much more relaxed as compared to what we were, as a parents.
We have a small country. We're not from, we don't have 1 billion people where we have to worry about crawling up the ladder to get something.
That's right. Yeah.
And we are relaxed. And the other problem, I suppose, with Irish is we love socializing.
That's correct.
So, so having parties and going to pubs is a big part of university life.
Yes.
And to be honest, I would say that the foreign students in our universities are all probably working much harder.
Much harder there. Yes, I've witnessed there. Especially with the odd jobs, they are mostly filled by the foreigners there. But that's true in every country that the immigrants play a very important role there.
It is, but you see, don't forget as well, not everything is about academia.
Mm-hmm.
You can get to the top of any company, and it's not necessarily the most academic person that makes the best CEO.
That's correct.
Sometimes you need people who are more compassionate or,
highly motivated. Well.
And so I don't believe, I'm not a believer that you need to have 7 A's, as we would say, the top of the pile.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a bit like doctors. I mean, doctors need high points to be a doctor. But it doesn't, the most academic person does not make the best doctor.
That's correct.
Yeah. They have bedside manners. They have to be able to talk to their patients. They have to have some kind of human interaction.
That's correct. Yeah. Other aspects of life are also equally important than academic as well. Both of them, they go together, hand in hand.
We are a laid back bunch.
That's right. Okay. Lastly, tell me about TEDx talk. What was that, your experience?
So you've never done one?
I haven't done one. Yeah, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
No, not yet. I'm sure you will do one at some point, will you?
At some point, yes.
At some point, yes.
It's my own list there.
Well, I'll tell you an interesting story. Mm-hmm. We have a genius mind reader in Ireland, and his name is Keith Barry.
Mm-hmm. I've heard about him, yeah.
He's a genius. He's completely a genius. I don't understand how he does anything.
Mm-hmm.
So a year before my TED talk, I was out I was talking in IBM to the young staff in IBM about my work and what we do. And Keith Barry was the other speaker, and I'd never met him before. And I was very impressed with him. And I said to Keith that afterwards, can I talk to you about my charity? Because I was worried that we were floundering. It was very difficult. Times were getting harder for people. It was harder to raise money. Mm-hmm. So I went to meet Keith in town the next day. And he gave me all the time I just felt he had a brain that I wanted to investigate and I wanted to use his brain to see how I could make the charity stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So Keith said to me, listen to me, in the next 12 months, you're going to do 2 things. You're going to have dinner with Vladimir Putin, and you're going to do a TED talk.
Oh my God, he told you in advance, yes, did he?
I swear to God, I joke.
Oh my God.
And I said, sorry. I said, neither of those things are going to happen. There's no...
Miles away.
So 6 months later, I get a phone call from the Kremlin, and they invite me to dinner with Mr. Putin. And so I sent Keith an email. I said, Keith, you won't believe this, but one of your predictions has just come true.
Yeah.
Well, Keith said to me, so have you heard from Ted yet?
I
said, oh no, like one out of 2 is good enough for me.
More than enough.
The next day, TEDx contacted me to do a TED talk. The next day, TEDx.
Oh my God.
It was the weirdest thing. It was just, I had to phone him and say, you are not going to believe this. And he said, TED called. I said, yes, they did. So it was just the weirdest story. So it was TEDx I did, obviously. And TED is the real big one,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I went to London and did Kingston upon Thames, a beautiful town outside London.
That's right. Yeah, it's a beautiful town. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I was the only Irish person, and we're all English. So I was kind of jittery because I kind of thought, oh my God, they won't understand my accent. Fast. And even when I was in training, because they do train you, they were trying to slow me down all the time because I talked too fast.
We as being Irish, we talk too much fast, like as compared to the other nations. That's quite natural,
I tell too many stories because they want to.
Yeah, we all are storytellers.
Yeah, so they tell you to kill your darlings. This is their favorite phrase. You've got to kill your darlings. You can't have all those stories. And I had an Indian girl who was my coach, and she was like, "You've got to stop trying to fit in so much information." because people's brains can't absorb. So I thoroughly enjoyed. Once I was very nervous actually before I went out on stage, because I don't mind speaking to big audiences. I mean, I was in Vietnam about 5 years ago, and I spoke to 9,000 people live, and that was the biggest I ever spoke to. So I kind of thought, after Vietnam, I can talk to anybody, because 9,000 is a lot of people. And but I was extremely nervous for TED. I think because I love TED Talks. I love TEDx. I watch them. I've been watching them for years. And I think it meant so much to me to be on a TED stage, standing on that red dot.
They're amazing stories of different people from different nations, different background, and you always learn something new.
They're fascinating. Like, every one of them are fascinating, really.
That's correct.
Every one of them are fascinating. I loved doing it. I absolutely loved doing it. So yeah, it was an honor to be on a TEDx stage. Absolutely an honor.
That's great. So tell me, before we say goodbye to the audience, what is the one-line message you would like to give to all the people who are watching you live today?
Well, first of all, I'd love everybody to watch my TEDx talk, because it does help. The more people that watch it, the more places it gets to.
Gets there, yeah.
So I would love if people could go on YouTube and watch Debbie Deegan and my TED talk. And that's one thing. And then the other thing is, if anybody wants to help our organization, or anybody wants to get involved, or, sponsors maybe our scholarship program or something like that, we need help all the time with these children. We're a very small, committed organization, very passionate about what we do. And we're good people to donate to,
Yeah. I was, just to cut down there, sorry, Debbie, I was doing a live with one of the same social worker, but he was from Pakistan. And during that time, I did a little bit of a research about donations. Yes. And I was amazed to see that Ireland ranked number 5th in the world for the number of donations the people do it in Ireland, which is a small country of a 4.9 million population, and number 5th in the world. So it's amazing that how much people love to donate in Ireland,
that's people in Ireland have big hearts.
That's right.
And not only that, but they trust you. They trust people.
Until it's broken.
And that's really what we're trusting as a nation, I think, And sometimes it's not a good thing to be too trusting. And I do think if you're going to give money to any organization, you should go to the organization first, examine it, make sure it's the right organization for you, talk to the staff, to the people at the top, to the people at the bottom, talk to somebody in the organization to see exactly where your money's going, and then make a donation. But we can't survive without the generosity of people.
Of course, that's the way it is. All charity organizations are dependent on donation, more or less, there, whether it's a state or private. So as much as people can donate for the good cause there, it is always good at the end of the day.
And can I just say, on my bucket list is to go to your country.
Pakistan or India?
Pakistan. It's on my bucket list.
Pakistan. You're more than welcome there. Very, very good people there, and I'm sure you will love there.
Food. It's my favorite.
Favorite food there. Traveling. This is the country. Let me tell you a little bit about it. That you will find all the 5 seasons in one country. You will find mountain. The second biggest range, K2, is there. Mount Everest nearby. And then good streams of rivers there. You will find snow there. You will find the forest there, and amazing people. I'm sure when I see negative publicity, especially by the American channels like CNN or sometimes by BBC, I know there is a poverty. That's for sure. There is a poverty there. There are people who needs help there. There are a lot of orphanage people who especially the kids who need support there. But having said that, it's a beautiful country to tour, to go there, eat different sorts of lovely food there, and the people are very warm. They are so loving there. You won't feel a bit there that you are somewhere else there, they would respect you. They will guide you from time to time there, what is good and what is bad there. And I'm sure your experience will be amazing there, in a simple
Yes,
word.
I know quite a few Pakistani men and women, because Kanara's beside my home.
That's
and
correct, yeah.
up the road. And honestly, it's hard to beat those two restaurants in Dublin City. The best food.
I totally agree with you. We were talking about Kanara other day there. Yes, it's beautiful, fabulous food there. Shoaib is his honor there, it's a fabulous food there.
Your country's on my bucket list, definitely. It's on my bucket
You're
list.
more than welcome. We will arrange a visit for you whenever you want to go there. Thank you very much for our live stream there. And it was lovely talking to you and understanding about your charity, and especially your visit to Russia there. It was an amazing story there itself there.
And keep safe. Keep safe with COVID.
Thank you. Thank you. So there was Debbie Deegan there. She was talking about her life, about charity, and her experience traveling to Russia there. Each week I try to bring up the local as well as the international people there who are committed for the the welfare of the community, or welfare of the people there around there, and she's doing a marvelous job there. I was thinking of doing a live with a couple of other people there. I'm sure in a couple of days you will see the post regarding the one or two other TED Talk speakers there. All I want to say is that they are all the people who do talks or who do mentoring, who are coach, are like you and me. They are not much of a difference. All the difference might be of their vision there. So better we have a good vision in our life. The vision dictates us that how good or how average we are there. There's nothing good or bad there. It's about all your vision there, focusing on what you would like to do in the future and how you would like to do it. Stay well there and take care of yourself. I'll see you next week on Tuesday, same time.